Hi, I'm Steve Adubato. Welcome to a very compelling program where we kick off with Paul V. Profetta, who's the president of the Paul V. Profeta Foundation, and he's affiliated with one of our higher ed partners, NJIT, in Newark, the Profetta Real Estate Center. Paul, good to see you.
Thank you. Good to be on.
Paul, we've had conversations in the past, both on and off the air. You've been involved and engaged in real estate all around the country, but particularly in Newark. Talk about, as we're into 2022, the real estate, quote, the real estate market, particularly in downtown Newark.
Well, I have specifically stayed out of Newark because I wanted to do philanthropic things, and I didn't want my efforts to be misperceived, but I'm certainly familiar with it. The pandemic set the office market back terribly when people were quarantined. No one could come to the office, and then people came back slowly, and landlords have had trouble collecting rent. A lot of buildings have had problems. It seems to be turning around, and it seems like we're going back to normal. Omicron seems to be declining, and I hope by spring, summer, we get back to being a normal country again.
Talk about your commitment to the study of real estate, that students involved in real estate at several universities, NJIT just being one of them. Why are you so committed to helping students understand the study of, the science of, the art of real estate?
Real estate has grown enormously in the last 10, 20 years, and there's technical aspects that have been added to it. When I first started 45 years ago, if you understood financing and marketing, you could make a living. But today, it's very important to know the bones of the building, how the building's made. Is it energy efficient? Is it green? And you have to know how to read a set of plans. You need engineering skills. And the best school in the state to do that is NJIT.
Let me understand something. Talk about the specific role of students in that work, Paul.
Well, the students, are going to be learning this at NJIT, and hopefully we can have intern programs where they can become involved as students with development and candidly educate some of their superiors about the technical aspects of the field.
Let me also ask you this. You have, again, been involved in real estate all across the country, but in terms of commercial real estate, with more and more organizations, us included, doing our work remotely, not everyone can do that. What do you see as the longer-term impact of COVID, 2 years plus into this pandemic, on the commercial real estate market across the nation? If more and more people are working out of their homes or working remotely?
That's an excellent question. And I'm involved often in debates with people who are very accomplished in the field. There's people that think it'll eventually go back to normal. Some people think it never will, and other people think it'll become somewhat, I don't want to say compromised, but somewhat of a combination of both, where people will work virtually 2-3 days a week from home and then 2 days, 3 days in the office. People realize that there's a chemistry that occurs when people meet in person, and there's a body English you sense, and you can't replace that virtually. So it is necessary for teams to get together once in a while and meet and go over the critical things. Then if you're going to go off and do a study by yourself, you could do that at home. But then when you got your results, you come back and present them. You present them to a group in person.
Paul, shift gears dramatically. You and I have had offline conversations about our quote-unquote ethnicity.
Yes.
And where our families come from in Italy, respectively, where our families come from. Now, someone might ask, what does that have to do with anything? What does your Italian-American background, your heritage with your family coming from Italy, immigrants into this country, what does that have to do with your commitment, particularly on the university level, be it at NJIT or other places, as it relates to allowing students or helping, encouraging students who are really the first, very often the first in their family to have a higher ed experience? Or am I making too much of that?
Oh, no. It was the drumbeat of my family growing up. When my parents grew up, they came from Italy at the turn of the century. The systemic racism was fashionable. I mean, you were judged by the people that you wouldn't associate with, and Italians were at the bottom of the ladder. One ads would be in the New York Times, office help
No
wanted.
Italians apply.
That's right. No Italians apply. But they knew that the road to equality in this country was education. And it was the drumbeat of our family. After dinner, you went and did your homework. And if I came home with an A-, it was a problem. And they went to see the teacher. Why wasn't it an A? Is there anything he can do to make it an A? They wanted us to get into the best schools. And my father would say, if you get into the best schools, you can't be denied. Even if you're Italian, you can't be denied. So I look at education, it elevated him enormously. He, as an immigrant, went to NYU, then went to NYU Law School. He did that all at night while he worked. Then he got a PhD in law, and he became a professor of law, all in one generation. And it's been the elevator for our family. So I love education and what it does for people. And that's why I'm so oriented to trying to help schools, help students.
Paul, listen, I want to thank you for joining us, putting this in perspective. We'll be monitoring the work of the Profetta Real Estate Center over at NJIT, and also a whole range of other issues involving Newark. Again, I'm a Newarker, born and raised in Brick City, so it isn't just downtown Newark. People say, well, look what's going on downtown. It's much more than that when it comes to real estate, and also the opportunities being provided to those students who are going to the many universities in and around the Newark area. They're the first in their family. It's a big deal. Paul Profetta, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
I'm Steve Adubato. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation. Funding has been provided by the Russell Berry Foundation, the New Jersey Economic Development Authority, NJM Insurance Group, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, Choose New Jersey, the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, the New Jersey Education Association, and by Suez North America. Promotional support provided by Meadowlands Chamber and by NJ Biz.
NJM Insurance Company has been serving New Jersey policyholders for more than 100 years. But just who are NJM's policyholders? They're the men and women who teach our children, the public sector employees who maintain our infrastructure, the workers who craft our manufactured goods, and New Jersey's next generation of leaders, the people who make our state a great place to call home. NJM, we've got New Jersey covered.